What is going on, YouTube? So coming back with my last college football preview of the day, and that is the Arkansas Razorbacks. So moving back into the SEC, it might be a rough season for Arkansas if I'm being honest. They only have, let's see, looks like five returning starters on the offense. So let's go ahead and get into it with first of my three key players, and that will be Austin Allen, the presumed starting quarterback for Arkansas in 2016. I guess someone's still in a position battle with Rafe Peavy. I don't think so, though. I think it's Austin Allen's job for the taking. Taking over after Brandon Allen graduates and goes to the NFL. Brandon Allen had a pretty good senior year, better than I was expecting. Had kind of a rough year or two before his senior year, so good to see him, do good and move along. But anyway, Austin Allen's going to have to come up big. He's got some weapons at wide receiver. I think that's the best position that Arkansas has coming back this year, the most talented at least. Drew Morgan for sure, Dominique Reed, Jared Cornelius lead a very solid wide receiving core, so he has something to work with. It's not just going to be him, though. The entire offense has to be fine. I believe it's left side of the offensive line, it doesn't have a whole lot in the way of returning starters. I don't think they have anything. So let's go ahead and get on with my second player, and that is Raleigh Williams. I think there's going to be a lot on his shoulders this year as the starting running back, maybe as the backup running back. Cody Walker might be the starter, but there's something in my gut that just says that Raleigh Williams is going to be that most of it's going to be on his shoulders, that he's going to take over the starting job eventually. Devois Whaley, as I mentioned earlier, Cody Walker, both of them are going to have to be very big this year. They lose Jonathan Williams and Alex Collins, the all-everything backs for the Razorbacks the last 2 years. Alex Collins and Jonathan Williams did miss some time to injury last year, so Raleigh Williams did get thrown in at times and did good, but again, a lot's going to be on his and Cody Walker's shoulders this year. I guess if anything, you should say both of them are the key players. And that's the second set of key players for me for the Razorbacks. My third, move over to the defense, and Brooks Ellis, the starting linebacker for Arkansas. Coming into his senior year, he will be the leader at linebacker for Arkansas. I think he will be the heart and soul of this defense. Arkansas actually does have a decent amount of returning starters on defense. I believe they have 8. They only lose one player in the secondary. They only lose one player at every single level on the defense. Jeremiah Ledbetter should be able to lead a pretty good defensive line. And then also Henry Tolliver and Josh Liddell should be able to lead a pretty good secondary as well. Now, Brooks Ellis is the best player they have on that defense. Coming back, I believe he is their leading tackler from last year. And like I said, the defense should be able to step up this year, but I'll get more into that later. So talk about my first of 2 X factors. And the first one is for the offense to reload. Just because they lose so much doesn't mean there's not talent left on this offense. I have no idea what to expect from Austin Allen. I'll be honest, most quarterbacks that come in that are new, I at least have some gut feeling about. This one I'm not really sure about. I'm going to have to go in and watch more film on him. I'm not a huge Arkansas fan, so it's not really the first thing I'd look for. Now, again, half that offensive line has to be able to reload, and obviously they're not going to be as good as they were last year. They were one of the best offensive lines in the country, definitely one of the biggest. But again, the entire offense, maybe outside of the wide receivers, has to reload. Running backs, quarterback, offensive line, tight end. They lose Hunter Henry. That's a big loss. But I think that to some degree they'll be able to overcome it. They still will lose a lot of players after this year too. Drew Morgan, Dominique Reed, Jeremy Sprinkle. Yeah, Jeremy Sprinkle. They will all be gone after this year. So again, the wide receiving core, it's their year. So my second X factor is for the defense to step up and reach that next level I was talking about earlier. Again, 8 returning starters, a lot of good players on this defense. The SEC West is going to be very tightly contested this year. Ole Miss will still be good. They will have a very good passing game. Alabama, they reload always. Arkansas has to go over to the East to play Florida. That's probably going to be a good game. That's 2 teams that are a little uncertain heading into the year, especially at the quarterback spot. So the defense stepping up big is going to be something that Arkansas is going to need if they even want to make a bowl game this year. This is a team that is competing in maybe the best division in college football, and even if you're a little bit off on either side of the ball, the division's not going to be very friendly to you. So my trap game for Arkansas is Mississippi State. At this point, I kind of believe it's sort of going to be like the toilet bowl of the SEC West. I'm not saying both these teams won't be good and talented. I actually believe both of them are. I don't think Nick Fitzgerald is any type of scrub. I think he's a very good quarterback. Maybe not Dak Prescott, but I think he could start for most teams in the country at Mississippi State. So for me, Arkansas is going to come in favored in this game. This could definitely be something where they need to perform well to be able to make a bowl game. These last two games, Mississippi State and Mizzou, they will probably be favored for both of them, but they do have to be able to win both of them if they want to make a bowl game this year. So my biggest game for Arkansas, and it is one of their two big rivalry games. Actually, there's a couple rivalries they have, but one of their two biggest, and that is LSU. If Arkansas wants to move into the middle tier of the SEC West, because moving up into the top tier is just, obviously anything can happen, but that's somewhat of a long shot for this year. So moving up into that middle tier of the SEC West, it would be big for them. To be able to pull off an 8 or 9 win season would be a tremendous success for Arkansas, like I said, especially in the SEC West. This is a division in the middle that's I think will be very chaotic. I truly believe Alabama and Ole Miss are 1-2. Again, that's my opinion, but that's what I feel about it. And then Texas A&M, Auburn, and LSU most likely being at the top of that list. But those teams in the middle, I think, will be fighting it out, really, battling hard for a good spot in a bowl game, and even being within striking distance of winning the SEC West. So get into my record prediction for Arkansas, and actually I think Arkansas fans might be happy with it depending on how high of expectations you have for this year. I do still think they will go bowling. I think they will go 6-7. I think a bowl loss is on tap. I think they're going to be a little just destroyed after this year of football. This is a team, like I said, putting in a bunch of new starters on offense, and to be able to make it through this schedule, like it was still with the bowl game with the amount of inexperience on offense, that would be very impressive. They don't have that many easy games. Louisiana Tech, maybe. They were still a pretty good non-Power 5 team last year. Texas State, Alcorn State, yeah. But after that, it's the tough SEC that you got to deal with. The easiest one, maybe Mizzou. And even then, they still might present a tough test this year. They do have to go to TCU out of conference. That's harder than, I'd say, half their games in the SEC. So that pretty much does it for this video. Arkansas, a team that will be very unknown heading into the 2016 season. Definitely a team that I follow every single year just because they're so up and down every single year. It's crazy to see how they turn out every year. It's be interesting to see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah.